Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeff. I'm a host on a podcast called the Brewgooders. I should have my banner somewhere, but I think it's still on my stall. This is going to be one of those kind of chats, guys, I'm afraid. Thank you for joining us for the Brewgooder Coffee Morning. If anyone wants to get us a coffee, that would add to the. I'm really underqualified to be joined by such amazing creators, so let me do some brief introductions before we get into it. To my right is Mr. David Lumsden. David didn't know he had an interview until about 2 minutes ago when I told him at his table. I've always wanted to have David on the show though, since I discovered Bo during lockdown. So yeah, we have Mr. Dave Cook, Mr. Cultopia. We've had you on the podcast loads of times, haven't we?
Yeah, it was great.
It's great. We did it during lockdown. That was an amazing time during lockdown when you could just message all your heroes and say, "Can you come onto my small podcast?" You're not doing anything, and I think you ended up chatting to us for an hour about the Matrix, which was amazing.
Oh, we went completely. Because for disclaimer on the podcast, we got the beer. That's what I started talking about Brewgooders. We got a bit stuffy and just started talking about absolute nonsense. It was great.
And to my far right, we have a joke, I don't think it would work here, about being on the far right of the screen. We've got Mr. Lee Garbett. So, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that was so funny there, but I just wanted to get started by asking you guys how you first discovered comics. What's your origin story? Yeah, you start. Lee, go for it then.
Well, I grew up in a house with quite a lot older siblings, and they all collected Marvel and DC comics. So they were just always there. And then my first memory was of classic Marvel covers and stuff. Especially because I wasn't allowed to touch them. So they were like this big suitcase. So my suitcase had like Pulp Fiction, basically. And the minute I got out of the house, open, and there was these amazing sort of Lucasfilm ceramic and Kirby covers and stuff. So, I mean, I read them eventually to bits. There would be some decent, worth a few pennies really, but they always seem to be years coming out. But it was that sort of literally the first thing I remember, and they were sort of a bit of a forbidden fruit as well. So they hold a bit of a sort of magical vibe.
Have you ever tried to go back and find? Obviously, comics are made to be read, and they disintegrate over time. Have you gone back to try and find some of those?
Yeah, I've still got a few of them, and ones I haven't. I've been sort of trying to get on email, just trying to find. Some like the ones like the first appearance of Blade and stuff. I'm not buying that, but the other ones that just like random covers and stuff. I do that. Big Daddy Murder Cast. A couple landed last week actually, so I'm going to go spin.
Oh, amazing. That's a great. How about you, Dave? What's your origin story?
When I was really young, I guess my first love for comics would be Christmas time. My grandparents took me the Greens and Brewgooders animals. Literally, that's probably the first one I read, and then they moved on to Vino and the Gambler, right? I mean, I think that's such a staple growing up in
Definitely.
I suppose now even, they're still really common now, but yeah, that was my very first rush to it, and I never really got into things like superhero comics for quite a while. Actually, it took me quite a long time to discover all that, because that was more of a video game. That's how I spent all my geeking out time was video games. But I really got into comics when I was in university. That was quite late. I was quite a late bloomer, but I just had a family who was just comic daft, and they would just recommend stuff that was shoved into the face. Read this is amazing, check that out. And I just took it to content really quickly. And then I just started getting into it that way. I suppose the reason I started writing comics was because I tried to write a novel, it was terrible. I was really bad at the descriptive writing, describing a sense of place or something look or a person. So I just thought, I'm going to turn this into a comic and something to draw from instead. So it was sheer laziness that I got into comics. But yeah, here we are. It just took 10 years later, still doing it. So yeah.
It's made the rest of us feel really old there by going, in uni I was doing this and I was doing that, and then 10 years later, here I am.
It's literally 10 years this year that I started doing comics.
Oh, amazing. Oh, brilliant. How are you, David? What's your origin story?
Similar to the guys actually. So like, obviously was kicking around, but my big sister was a big fan of Tank Girl. She would have that kicking around the house, and I always loved that. So I started there. But for me, it was the Crow. So the Crow graphic novel was the first thing that really grew. Wow, it's something that was really quite. It sort of triggered with me. I was like, this is something I'd love to get a do. And I kind of got into film, and I kind of started seeing out film adaptations. So similar to it wasn't really superhero for me. It was more about like the adaptations from films where you could get more of the story. So like Mute's Tale for Aliens was like a big one for me. So you could see the story from the Mute's perspective. That was great. So I just kind of kept getting these film tie-ins, and then eventually I made a short film called Boat, which made for obviously money. And there's a lot of visual effects in the film, and because it took so long to do the visual effects, I always like to tie in the graphic novel version of the short. And that's where I kind of got into comics in about 2015. I think the first one I did was actually with Dave.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we were like, that was when we first met in Glasgow, and the first week was a lot of fun, but everything that I couldn't put in the book, because we couldn't afford to put it in the film, we just kept making and finished the series last year. So yeah.
That's awesome. It must be quite surreal to be here today. Obviously, you're saying about your origins being Tank Girl and like discovering that, and then to be where you're sat in the hall must be a bit mad.
We're next to Rowder. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what to tell him. I was literally about to tell him.
No, oh, sorry.
The story. You need to go on stage. I said, okay. So I have to go back and tell him that he's one of my heroes.
It's really interesting. Just
No, go for it.
I mean, everyone here is going to attest that the comics community is just such a great place full of amazing people and all the readers and people that come to the table. It's just great. So it's just been, go from going a fan from that side of the table to this side, it's just been magical. Honestly, it's been great.
I've got to admit that it's that there is that imposter syndrome that first couple of times, though, isn't there?
100%.
So, David, you obviously I'm really fascinated in this idea that particularly obviously Boat started off as a small film.
Yeah.
How did you find that transition? That's quite to the graphic novel.
It was good. I mean, it was kind of similar to what the guys were saying as well. Is that it was really a fan thing. It all came from the fact that I loved comics so much, and I always wanted to do it. And when I was younger, I'd always write little strips. Had no idea how to format a comic script or anything. It was just literally just writing. And then eventually, when I did show it to an artist like that, that is not how you write a comic script. It's like go away and come back and do it properly. But no, it was just a fun thing, and it really was similar. Like go to the con and have this book. Does anyone respond to it? But it was more of a fan thing. I never thought it would ever really lead to anything, just for more hobby, like a hobby to get away from the film side of things. And also, it's really difficult to sort of finance films and do these crazy stories because you don't have the budget. So I thought it would be a nice way to sort of make those stories that are sitting on a shelf come to life, but through comics. Not that comics is cheap, but still it's a thing. But it's it's a fun way to sort of get my geekery out. So,
So yeah, there's been you guys have all been doing this for quite a long time, so we could spend all afternoon chatting about where you started and where you've been and where you are now. But is there anything you guys in the time that you've been doing comics that you're particularly proud of? Lee, have you got anything that you reflect back and you're like, you can't take that away from me? I did that.
Yeah, my first. I mean, obviously, like you said, the other guys were saying as well. You get into this job because you love comics and you love the characters and stuff. So being able to work on characters like Spider-Man, Death of Doctor Strange, was like a real. I didn't realise I liked drawing him until I did the Defenders miniseries, and then I was like, no, I want to draw this guy all the time. But the thing I think I'm most proud of and worked the best was Skyward for Image Comics, and that was me working with a guy called Joe Henderson, who was the showrunner on the Lucifer show, and I was on the Lucifer book, and although they had nothing to do with each other really, we were sort of we got chatting. And so he sent me a picture and said, do you know anyone who might want to draw this? Apparently with the idea that I would go, me. And but when I read it, it was really weird. It was like stuff I would back in the day draw just for fun, And it's about where there's a big event called G-Day where gravity is reduced about sort of 10% on Earth, basically. So you have that buy. We all know, that everyone would die. Really. But you have that one buy where, okay, if you buy that, then what will happen? And so we did that. It was like it was a 15-issue miniseries, and it was the most me I've been, I think, because it just felt everything felt right. And I've worked with him now. We did Shadecraft, and now we're doing the Big Burn for Distillery together. So it's created like a really great partnership as well. But yeah, it's the most the book I'm most proud of, I think.
Nice.
I'm on my table now.
Hey, we're all in the comics village, aren't we?
I've got full omnibus of full series there, and I've also got my latest book, which is called Out There, which is a horror story set in Scottish Island, got like Wicker Man.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I've got that. So that is me.
Amazing.
Not the bottom up and stuff's really good, but on my own stuff.
I'm sharing a couch with somebody that I've wanted to interview for ages. It's been incredible. Yeah, I've not read Out There yet, but Boat is impeccable. It's so good.
I'm on the end of the road just over there. We can get series Utopia. I've got the collected edition. This is brand new. It's not out until the end of October, so like very first copies. We've also got like a few good comics based on video games, running lunch shows. So like Metal Slug, Cuphead, that kind of thing. So I've got that fresh off the press there as well. But yeah, come check it out.
Amazing.
I'm just on the road from you. I think, but again, I don't know what it's called. Let's see something.
Yeah.
And I've got copies of Skyward, which I was talking about earlier, and the deluxe edition, and then copies of my new Big Bird issue 1, and some Batgirl and some bits of boxes. So yeah, come on and say hi.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.